Judgment Day is coming. Sooner than you think.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Terminator 2, coming in August on the Movie Channel.
From director Robert Altman comes a story of Hollywood.
I got a writer in here who's got a pitch I think you ought to hear. I think it's hot.
We open outside San Quentin.
The Graduate, Part 2. And Mrs. Robinson had a stroke, so she can't talk.
It's gonna be funny?
Yeah, it'll be funny.
Griffin Mill is a hotshot studio executive.
Yes! Angelica, Griffin Mill.
Oh, hi.
Good to see you. Malcolm McDowell.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Bert.
Hi, Ian. Good to see you.
He's heard every pitch.
That's exactly right. It's Out of Africa meets Pretty Woman.
He knows all the angles.
We're gonna have to have a little sex in this
Oh, yeah, sure, of course. We'll get it.
Slowly pushes her panties down to her knees.
And all the players.
Where are the stars?
No stars.
No stars?
Bruce Willis.
I want Bruce Willis. Not Bruce Willis. No Schwarzenegger.
Julia Roberts.
Now, he's about to star.
How did this get here?
They're coming from a writer.
Hello, is David Kane there, please? This is Griffin Mill.
Who's a dead man?
In his most unforgettable story yet.
Stop all the postcards. I don't write postcards! I write postcards!
This is a tough story. A tragedy. Not unlike Ghost meets Manchurian Candidate.
The trouble is,
Something you have to know. If you went to Pasadena with intent to kill, you could go to the gas chamber.
it's not a movie.
I'd like you to come down to the station. I would hate to get the wrong person arrested.
Oh, please. This is Pasadena. We do not arrest the wrong person. That's L.A.
It's his life.
Are you seeing someone else? You took her to a party, Griffin, with several hundred of my best friends.
Do places like this really exist?
Only in the movies.
Robert Altman's The Player.
Can we talk about something other than Hollywood for a change?
Yes.
We're educated people.
Harry Maddox decides to settle in a small town.
So what you gonna do in our town?
Whatever there is to do.
One woman steals his heart.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Another woman steals his soul.
I told you we were a lot alike, didn't I? Now lean down, Harry. You want to kiss me, don't you?
Don Johnson, Virginia Madsen, The Hot Spot. Playing tonight on the Movie Channel. Live on the edge. Feel the heat. Smell the fear. Kurt Russell, William Baldwin, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Rebecca De Mornay, Robert De Niro. Backdraft. Premiering Sunday on the Movie Channel. Thelma.
I'll have a wild turkey straight up and a Coke back, please.
Thelma!
Louise.
Don't want to end up on the damn Geraldo show.
Thelma and Louise.
You are disturbed! Yeah.
Exactly what makes them run?
You're getting in deeper every moment you're gone.
Susan Sarandon, Gina Davis.
How do you like the vacation so far?
The Academy Award-winning Thelma and Louise coming in July on the Movie Channel.
50% of all the movies made in the United States before 1950 no longer exist in any form.
All right, roll it.
It was a time when the magic of Hollywood was captured on nitrate film stock a highly flammable and unstable medium that would eventually destroy itself. Over time, the images began to fade, turning into a gooey substance, then into dust. Eventually, every film from this period will vanish, unless it is saved.
I'm quite convinced that 500 and even 5,000 years from now, when people look back at the 20th century, it'll be the first 100 years. It'll be the period when moving images were discovered, were innovated, where the whole language of film and television was developed. They're going to look back and they're going to say, why didn't they take better care of this? It's their century recorded.
People are finally taking care of our rapidly vanishing film heritage, and one of the leaders in the fight is the UCLA Film and Television Archive. They're bringing old films back to life on a regular basis.
When people say preservation, what they mean is taking an old film that's on nitrate base and copying it to modern acetate or polyester stock, which will last, a long time and will save the film for the future. In terms of talking about restoration, you're talking about dealing with films that have survived in an incomplete form. In many cases, it's like putting a puzzle together.
For years, Becky Sharp, the first feature film shot in full Technicolor, only existed as a washed-out color movie with 18 minutes missing. After months of searching for and repairing original material, Becky Sharp is beautiful once again. The same miracle has happened to She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, John Ford's classic film starring John Wayne.
I've always been proud of you.
We're quite convinced you can talk about deteriorating nitrate and show the dust in the can, but it's when an audience falls in love with an image on the screen and realizes that might not have been there if it hadn't been for the efforts of the archive. I think you make your case.
And Hollywood has become more responsible for saving its film legacy. With the creation of the Film Foundation, directors like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas have joined the cause of film preservation.
I mean, this is really like Raiders of the Lost Negative.
The studios have a new reverence for their film libraries. All of them are now very much into preserving their libraries and treating the new films that they're making, which is also important, in a way that will save them for our kids and our kids' kids.
And there's no shortage of film to work on. There are hundreds of archives around the world preserving their own country's film heritage. At UCLA alone, there are over 25 million feet of film waiting to be saved.
It's a humongous collection and a rather awesome responsibility. And we try very hard to struggle against the clock and against the deterioration to save this. And sometimes we win and sometimes we lose.
Film preservation is an enormous task that takes time, effort, money, and most importantly, awareness. And the awareness grows every time a piece of film disappears.
Movies are an important part of everybody's life. They really are. When you hear people talk and they remember their childhood, they remember as part of their childhood the movies they went to. And so it is something worth saving.
The drones, the marching men. In an hour they'll be dying for their country. Dying for their country. Well, I'm dying for my breakfast.
Artie Lewis will never forget the day his life changed.
You like partner? Huh?
He wants his partner's killers.
That's the slime who killed Stevie, man, any way you slice it. Look at me as your personal policeman. I feel so safe. From now on, wherever you turn around, I'll be right there.
And he won't stop until he gets them.
We gotta take these guys out.
Michael Keaton, One Good Cop. Playing tonight on the Movie Channel.
Here's a preview of a movie playing in theaters now.
The great thing about life on the street is you know how it's gonna be. It's always the same. It's always getting worse.
Hasta la vista!
On these streets, one color rules. Green.
It's not 10 kilos we want 20.
Listen, you're taking a lot away for a guy we hardly know, John. Where are you moving this stuff?
He's gonna get you busted. No, he won't.
On these streets, nothing's what it seems to be.
Is that our bust? Yeah. Well, who is he?
Listen, John here got busted, but he kept his mouth shut.
On these streets, he'd be the perfect criminal if he wasn't the perfect cop.
Did you ever take a look at your psychological profile? You score almost exactly like a criminal. I'm looking for somebody who will go under and stay under.
What does he have to do?
Buy drugs, sell drugs, set up the people that I want to bust. Because there's only one rule in this game, John. Don't blow your cover.
Do what you want, but don't try to sit down while I get down. Knock, coincidence.
There's a lot of money to be made out there, babe. The more we have, the more we can move.
Business is improving.
From almost nothing to almost something.
Oh, are you an ambitious boy?
Don't know what's up. Playing cut after cut, they don't move your butt like this. New sound like a new.
You're gonna kill us.
You're not gonna kill anybody. We're too valuable to him.
While I drop more, pay the cost to be the boss in case we need more room. We got to get the chance that if the floor's still packed, move it to the back of the club.
There's no such thing as an American anymore. No blacks, no whites, no nothing. It's just rich people and poor people.
Larry Fishburne.
Don't blow your cover.
When the brothers get smacked and jacked and shot down.
Deep cover.
Come on.
They said she could see tomorrow.
I'm trying to tune somebody in.
But what she saw was death.
His chest has exploded. Blood and bone on the wall.
She predicted it would happen. Now some want to silence her forever.
The medium could cause you a problem. She knows what it looks like.
Martha, you could be killed out there tonight.
Was she a true seer?
She can offer proof that there is life after death.
Or a cheap swindler?
So you think I'm a charlatan?
Rosanna Arquette, Jason Robards, Tom Hulce in A Mystery of the Great Beyond. Black Rainbow.
Playing Saturday on the Movie Channel.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
And I'm Humpty Dumpty.
This is no run-of-the-mill reunion. You're in Queens, New York.
You're planning on leaving me at the altar, aren't you?
That neighborly nut house on the east side of America.
What am I doing here?
It's where Joe Montana, Kevin Bacon, Jamie Lee Curtis and their pals come to communicate.
Welcome. Will that be check or cash?
With Queen's Logic.
Take time.
Premiering next month on the Movie Channel.
Hi, I'm Robert Osborne for the Movie Channel. You know, I understand the word documentary is now considered such a liability on films that some people are trying to get it changed. They want to call the documentary genre anything but that. They say you just mention a documentary film and people will start running to the east, to the west, anywhere but to a movie theater. What a shame that is, because the documentary genre has brought us some of the most fascinating, interesting entrees ever put on our movie platter. This past year, for example, Truth or Dare was a documentary film. Now, whether Madonna is high on your list of priorities or somebody to be avoided at all costs, you can't say that Truth or Dare wasn't a grabber.
Dear Lord, it seems like every time I'm standing in this circle before the show, I'm asking you for something extra special. Well, I'm here again, and they say ask and you shall receive. So I'm begging you to give me a voice to sing with this evening.
And 35 Up, which is still in theaters, is a documentary and a great film. It's Michael Apted's look at a group of Brits from both the upper and lower income levels, catching them at age 7, then again at 14, at age 21, 28, and now 35.
Bad to be a has-been and never was, wasn't it?
And if the word documentary conjures up the idea of a dry, preachy, boring film set, well, just have a look at Paris is Burning, Jeannie Livingston's insider's look at transvestite masquerade drag balls in Harlem, a unique world unto itself. Actually, documentary films have always been full of surprises and consistently among the most exciting films ever produced. During World War II, Frank Capra made a dazzling series of documentary features called Why We Fight series. Capra used the documentary format to help educate and enlighten his whole country as to why World War II was being fought. One of my favorites is the 1984 documentary Marlene, made by Maximilian Schell about Marlene Dietrich. It was Dietrich herself who first suggested making the movie. Then, once all the wheels got into motion, she refused to be photographed for it. And in 1984, there was The Times of Harvey Milk, a mesmerizing documentary about the San Francisco politician and gay rights activist who was assassinated. Now, if you haven't seen most of these films, it's probably because theaters rarely book them. It's a vicious cycle. Theaters don't book them because they don't draw customers, and customers have never been turned on to them because theaters so rarely book them. One of the best ways a documentary film can break that standoff is to win an Academy Award. That's one reason there was great controversy over this year's list of Oscar nominees in that category. 5 fine films were nominated, but many other great ones weren't, such as Truth or Dare, 35 Up, Paris is Burning. Well, nobody wants to be a bad sport, but many of those overlooked films desperately needed and wanted a nomination and hopefully the big prize to be able to break through the taboos and find bigger audiences. Well, maybe the Oscars documentary rules do need to be overhauled a bit. Maybe too many great documentaries do get overlooked by the Academy. We here at the Movie Channel are certainly big fans of documentaries. In the coming months, as a matter of fact, you can see Hearts of Darkness, a filmmaker's apocalypse, which is the highly acclaimed documentary on the nightmare that Francis Ford Coppola and company went through making the film Apocalypse Now. We'll also be showing Picture This, the story behind the story of Peter Bogdanovich's making of the Last Picture Show in Texasville. And we'll also be showing Oliver Stone, Inside Out, which is a revealing look at the man I guess is the most controversial director in American cinema today. You know, you'll do yourself a favor if you check out some of the documentary films that occasionally pop up. You may be surprised at how very good they are. You may also be entertained and eventually addicted to them. I know I am. For the Movie Channel, I'm Robert Osborne.
Doesn't anybody go bowling anymore?
Tuesday nights are not what they once were. Tuesday Night Terrors continues in May.
We haven't seen the end of them.
Coming this week.
Are you all right?
If your mom's a vamp, what are you?
I'm a vampire.
And I'm the bride of Frankenstein.
He is Rockula.
When City Slickers hit the trail hits back.
I lost my wife, I lost my job, and I've got some sort of rash from making in the bushes.
City Slickers, starring Billy Crystal, coming in June on the Movie Channel.